power. It intoxicates, it corrupts, and in the hands of a single unchecked ruler, it can unleash tides of blood that reshape the world. From the deserts of the Middle East to the palaces of Europe, history is littered with the names of kings who built their legacies not just on gold and glory, but on a foundation of terror. These are not just tyrants, they are architects of agony, visionaries of violence. They commanded absolute loyalty and ruled with absolute fear. Today, we count down the 10 most dangerous monarchs ever to wear a crown. We will explore the minds of these rulers, the empires they forged in fire, and the countless lives shattered in their quest for immortality.
Number 10. Henry VIII of England, a king whose personal life became a national bloodbath. Henry VIII of England. He began his reign as a Renaissance prince, but his desperation for a male heir unleashed a reign of terror. The English Reformation, breaking from the Catholic Church, the dissolution of the monasteries, the execution of 2 of his 6 wives, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard, along with countless ministers, friends, and relatives like Thomas More and Thomas Cromwell on charges of treason. It said he was so large at his death that his coffin burst open, a grotesque echo of a life that cannot be contained. He forever altered England's religious and political landscape, creating the Church of England and establishing the supremacy of the monarch over all matters of state and soul.
Number 9. Tamerlane, or Timur, a conqueror who made a monument of death his signature. Tamerlane, the last great nomadic conqueror of Asia, he dreamed of restoring the Mongol Empire of Genghis Khan, and his method was systematic slaughter. Founded the Timurid Empire, sacked Delhi, Baghdad, and Damascus. His most infamous acts were the construction of pyramids from the skulls of his victims, 70,000 in Esfahan, 90,000 in Baghdad, to deter rebellion. If you would know what I am, know this: I am the scourge of God, sent to punish you for your sins. A short-lived empire that collapsed after his death, but his name became synonymous with merciless conquest. His legacy is warning of the destructive power of pure, ambitious militarism.
Number 8. Herod the Great, 74 to 4 BCE. A king so paranoid, the biblical story of the massacre of the innocents fits his profile perfectly. Herod the Great, king of Judea. A client king for the Roman Empire, he was a master builder and a merciless ruler. Magnificent construction projects, including the expansion of the Second Temple. But he also murdered his beloved wife, Mariamne, his mother-in-law, and 3 of his own sons, whom he suspected of plotting against him. The Roman Emperor Augustus famously quipped, "It is better to be Herod's pig than his son." While he brought prosperity and grand architecture, he is eternally remembered as a tyrant who would spill any blood, even that of his own family, to secure his throne.
Number 7. Nero Claudius Caesar, the emperor who became the template for the mad tyrant, Nero. Ascending to the throne of the Roman Empire at just 16, his reign began with promise but descended into a nightmare of hedonism and horror. He is famously accused of fiddling while Rome burned, though the story is likely apocryphal. He used the fire as an excuse to build his vast, egotistical Domus Aurea, Golden House. He brutally persecuted Christians, having them burned alive as human torches. He allegedly murdered his own mother, Agrippina, and his wife, Octavia. Nero's tyranny led to civil war and the end of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. He remains the archetype of the decadent, insane, and cruel ruler.
Number 6. King Leopold II of Belgium, 1835 to 1909. A danger of a different kind. A king who never set foot in the colony he brutalized. Leopold II of Belgium. Under the guise of philanthropy and civilizing Africa, he turned the Congo into his personal plantation, a state of unparalleled horror.
turns the Congo Free State his private property. To meet rubber quotas, his agents instituted a regime of forced labor, torture, mass killings, and a system of amputating hands for disobedience. An estimated 10 million Congolese died. His reign represents one of the worst genocides in human history, and serves as a dark chapter in the story of European colonialism, showing how absolute power, even from afar, can lead to industrial-scale murder.
Number 5. Vlad the Impaler, or Vlad Dracul, 1428 to 1777. The man who inspired the world's most famous vampire, and his real-life story is arguably more terrifying. Vlad III, Prince of Wallachia, known to history as Vlad the Impaler, a skilled warrior who fought against the Ottoman expansion. His signature punishment, impalement, was used on a massive scale. He impaled 20,000 people outside the city of Targoviste to deter an advancing Ottoman army. He was known for his brutal campaigns against the Saxon merchants of Transylvania. He ordered that the boyars be impaled and their bodies left to rot as a warning to others. A Saxon pamphlet, a national hero in Romania, for his defiance of the Ottomans, but a byword for sadistic cruelty everywhere else. He proved that absolute fear could be an effective, if monstrous, tool of statecraft.
Number 4. Qin Shi Huang, the visionary tyrant who forged a nation through fire and tyranny. Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. His ambition was boundless, to unify the warring states into a single powerful empire. He unified China, standardized writing, currency, and measurements, began the Great Wall. But he also buried 460 scholars alive for owning forbidden books, employed brutal conscript labor that cost countless lives, and ruled by a strict, cruel legalist code to punish minor factions with mutilation or death. He created the concept of a unified China, a legacy that lasts to this day. But he also set a precedent for absolute, autocratic rule, proving that monumental achievement can be built on a mountain of human suffering.
Number 3. Genghis Khan, the man who forged history's largest contiguous land empire from the saddle of a horse, Genghis Khan. He was a strategic genius, but his rise was a hurricane of destruction. He united the Mongol tribes and created an empire stretching from the Pacific to the Caspian Sea. His campaigns were marked by the wholesale slaughter of cities that resisted. In Nishapur, it was recorded that every man, woman, child, and even the cats and dogs were killed. His wars may have killed up to 40 million people. While he promoted trade and religious tolerance within his empire, his name is eternally linked to apocalyptic conquest. He demonstrated how mobility, discipline, and terror could be used to subjugate the known world.
Number 2. Ivan the Terrible, a king whose name says it all. Ivan IV Vasilyevich, Tsar of all Russia, known as Ivan the Terrible. His reign was a Jekyll and Hyde story of capable reform descending into paranoid madness. Crowned as the first Tsar, expanded Russian territory, but after the death of his wife, he created the Oprichnina, a state within a state run by his loyal thugs. They terrorized the population, and in a fit of rage, Ivan murdered his own son and heir, effectively ending his dynasty. He created the framework for the Russian autocracy that he also bequeathed a model of rule based on fear, suspicion, and the absolute power of the sovereign over life and death. Number 1. King of Kings, the most dangerous king in history. A ruler whose ambition was limitless, whose armies were invincible, and whose name still echoes as a symbol of absolute power. Xerxes I of Persia. While his father, Darius, was the administrator, Xerxes was the avenger. He commanded the largest empire the ancient world had ever seen, and he sought to crush the one thorn in its side, Greece. Launched a massive multinational invasion of Greece. His forces sacked and burned Athens. He is infamous for his brutal temper ordering the sea to be whipped when a storm destroyed his bridge, and having his engineers beheaded for their failures. His defeat at Salamis showed the world that even the most powerful empire could be humbled.
My men have become women, and my women men.
His reported despair at the Battle of Salamis. Xerxes represents the pinnacle of ancient imperial powers and its vulnerabilities. His failed invasion marked the beginning of the end for Achaemenid Persia's expansion and ensured the survival of Greek culture, which would go on to shape the Western world. He is the ultimate symbol of overreach, of power so vast, it becomes its own undoing.